Hey guys, Suntuk here, Mr. Suntuk here on YouTube. A friend just recently sent me this message, channeling message, and he wanted me to maybe go ahead and dissect this material, and I went through it. It's a relatively short one, but I agreed to go ahead and dissect this and see what I see. And first off, we you need to get into a space of centeredness and balance and find strength within yourself, because only on equal and level ground can you be able to start to discern what is positive, what is negative, what is east, what is west, south, or anything like that. Because if you're not centered and balanced in the first place, how can you tell where you're going? If someone is pushing you down a dark road, you can't tell because you're not balanced. You're not in a position of strength. And first part when you're reading all of this stuff is you have to clear off, you have to get rid of all fears, all programmings that there is any fixing that needs to be done in this planet and in humanity, what's going on right now. If you just focus on the present with each breath, be in the stillness of each moment, the perfection of it all, and go from there. Because any swing to either side from that position, you're in a position of equality. You know what I mean? Of neutrality. All right. So based on the fact that all men and women is created equal, we start to look at some of these external messages from external sources, and some of these you have to be aware of some form. You have to be aware of mind control techniques, hypnosis, NLP, and you start looking at these messages, and a different type of message starts to reveal itself. Not exactly what they're saying, but how they're saying it. I believe messages should be there should be three basic qualifications for a good message. One, that it's simple, that it's empowering, and that it's coming from love. Energy flows where the mind goes. So really, it's not what they're saying, but where they're really directing your awareness and your consciousness. Because on humanity, this planet, we're like a ship, and the consciousness steers the timeline of the ship that we call humanity. And so it is our awareness that this war is about. So let's go ahead and look through some of this. Look through this here. We're getting bombarded with emails asking what's going on. There is so much information and disinformation flooding the internet. People are becoming confused, disoriented, some even apathetic to any new information. Again, here it already starts off with disinformation, confused, disoriented. So it's already starting off not in a place of balance, because it's directing your consciousness to confusion, disorientation, apathetic to new information. Again, it's not what they're saying, it's where their attention is directing you. This is the plan of the controllers. I love this point right here in blue, which is why I highlight in blue. What it all boils down to is making your own God, Spirit, Creator connection and stop depending on others to lead you or save you. Now that is beautiful. That is absolute truth. And we're going to go back to this one quote. A lot of this, there's a lot of sarcasm in this. If you want the white hats to save you, go out and buy a white hat. If you want to remain in denial of the obvious and listen to the feel-good message where people tell you there will be no changes, the status quo will continue, business as usual, you will be caught unaware and unprepared. Okay, if you believe your consciousness is all-powerful, you will levitate, dematerialize, walk on water, bilocate, ascend in the throes of physical earth changes, then demonstrate it. Find a great tree, tell yourself it is an illusion, then take a run at it. Go to the ocean and stop the waves. The little ones, then ask yourself if you can stop a great wave or ocean displacement. Here is just straight sarcasm, I'm never going to get into this because it's just petty retardedness, bickering. Now this is this part where it starts to get interesting. Are you aware of the escalation of severe weather, droughts, floods, the massive wildfires? Are you aware of the unprecedented increase in earthquake and volcanic activity? Are you paying attention to the sun? Solar cycle 24 and the unprecedented increase in CMEs, solar flares. Do you know about the dark rift and the alignment with galactic plane, or the burst of gamma and other rays bombarding the earth? Here it's just listing all this potential of energy and presupposing that it's a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's intended to get. It's almost sarcasm, like, "Hey, dumbass, check this out. Are you aware of all of this stuff? Is this loving? I think not." But let's continue. How about the massive holes in the magnetic fields, allowing more cosmic and other rays to enter, more meteors to come in putting on quite a show lately? Is not the collapse and movement of the magnetic fields a precursor to a pole shift? Now for a personal note, have you paid any attention to the condition of the economy, the failing of the dollar, massive derivatives that cannot get paid, trillions of dollars given to the banksters? All of this stuff right here is just, this is like watching the news. Basically, he's watching the news and he's acting like an email reporter. He's just repeating trash that he's picked up on the internet, which is considered research, I guess. All right, let's continue. The looting and pullout of the major banks who are taking out put options that economy will crash. Why? Because they are crashing it despite what the politicians embedded with them are telling you. Why are they all pulling out? What do they know? Why are there massive underground facilities being built for the elite? Why are other countries building massive underground facilities for their entire people, and America is only concerned with the elite? This is just fear. Straight up fear. I mean, energy goes where attention goes, and it is important to be aware of all of this stuff, I guess. But to a certain point, you have to let it go because you need to push off of that, and you realize that has always been in place. The elite has always been trying to do this, but they're fighting evolution. They're fighting a losing battle, and to analyze all of this stuff only keeps you in the muck. Wow. Okay. In red here, have you figured it out yet? If you haven't, maybe the gene pool just might need some cleaning. Basically, it's saying, hey, dumbass, if you're not aware of all this stuff, maybe you're useless. Maybe you should just go get a refund. It's basically straight up sarcasm put in a twist. I'll seem like he's caring. This basically sounds to me like a pimp expressing love for his girls, even though he's about to give them a beatdown, and he's just beating them into submission, telling them that he loves them. That is considered love to some people, I guess, but I'll pass on that. But let's continue. To many with strong attachment, this will sound like doom and gloom. Oh, okay, here's the defense. Those heavily invested in the material will have real problems with this information. Yet, despite their beliefs, these changes are happening, and it has gone from prophecy to science and statistics. What happened to let me just create a connection and stop depending on others. This is prophecy to science and statistics. I don't think this is statistics. I mean, how do we know this is unprecedented event? Who says this is bad events that are happening? One cycle must close for another cycle to open. We have to go back to our gut feelings, our own inner guidance. That's great. You know what I mean? Inner guidance is what it's all about, having your own discernment. Pay attention to the obvious. Forget about the mainstream media. It is run by the corporation that has only the corporate interest as an agenda. And then the internet is full of disinformation, and any researcher knows that. About 70 to 90% is not empowering material. Spins and twists wrapped with truth. Just because you're aware of all of the negativity in the planet doesn't mean it's a great material. Okay. Pay attention to the obvious. Forget about the mainstream media. It is run by the corporation, has only the corporate interest as an agenda. That interest is to maintain the status quo, keep the sheep placated right up to the slaughter pen. The problem is the sheep are awakening. Here, I don't like this because here basically, saying with an elite attitude, the sheep, the ones that we should be thinking out the gene pool because they're not getting it is starting to awake. Referring to the common people, the majority of the people as sheep. Again, this is just a peer into one's consciousness and awareness and what their perspectives are. The problem is the sheep are awakening. sarcasm. The whole planet is awakening, shifting, birthing, expanding, cleansing, and moving to the next level in her evolutionary process. Exactly, this is evolution, you know. So here we see we see the distortions, you know, of supplying truth, yet throwing in all this fear and directing your attention to a certain outcome, yet throwing a little bit more truth, so that you start to resonate the material. There are some truth, and it makes you want to resonate with the material, because it is true. The planet is evolving. We should make our own God, spirit, source connection and stop depending on others to save ourselves. But then what is listening? What it directs your attention to here is totally in contradiction. There's a saying, nature will not kill you, but she will let you die. That's a little harsh, but okay. It is up to us to flow with these changes and prepare on every level. This I like, you know, there's truth in all of this. Spiritually, by making your own personal God, creator, spirit connection, establishing your own inner guidance. Mentally, by developing critical thinking, common sense is God's sense. Emotionally, by releasing the past wounds, traumas, and wrong conclusions from the past experience. From the past experience, keyword. Just because the author is saying all of this stuff doesn't mean he has actually accomplished all of this. I just want to make a note of that. Physically, by having access to fresh water, food, and shelter in the areas that will not be so affected by the changes. Sitting on top of major fault lines or on the coast is not wise in the days to come. Now, if we're making our own God source spirit connection and establishing our own inner guidance, why is he providing this stuff? You know, it's again, there's a contradiction. I know a lot of people, powerful people, are being called to exactly where the fault lines is exactly being called to exactly where there is the most terror on top of this planet. You know, to the most heavily brainwashed and manipulated areas, because that is where the transformation needs to happen. It's easy to meditate on top of the mountain in a cave, but try doing it in the city, in the heart of where the manipulation is. That is true meditation in chaos, because that's real. That is how life is, you know. I know I was called to come back here to Hawaii to anchor in more positive energy, and here he is telling everybody to move out of these areas. And so what would happen if the light people actually move out of these areas, the light workers? There would be no chance for these areas to actually make the transition and transform into the negativity. It is because of these light workers on these fault lines, on the coast, in the cities, that we are going to make this transformation, I believe, you know. So, okay, moving on. Many are investing in gold and silver, which is not a bad idea yet. Investing in land, garden, and seeds, accessing clean water, tools, and food stock is better. Absolute truth. I like that sentence right there. Do not just think about yourself. Think about others as well. It is much better to feed someone than to shoot them. Do not think because you are a nice person, those who are hungry will honor that. It is not their truth. I know this is a hard pill to swallow. Now, this here is interesting. To me, it reveals narcissism and a little bipolarness, because here it's saying, do not think about just yourself. Think about others as well. It is much better karma to feed someone than to shoot them. That's absolute truth. And then here it does an absolutely 360 spin. Not 360, what was it? 180 spin. Do not think because you are a nice person, those who are hungry will honor that. This is not their truth. I know it is a hard pill to swallow. I swallowed it over 30 years ago when I was shown the visions of the probable future. So again, absolute contradictions. And here he's justifying it. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but I swallowed it over 30 years ago. You know, I was training with my kung fu teacher, my internal kung fu teacher, and he just posted something that goes according to. No, he just posted something that said, to destroy an enemy, make them your friend. You know, to destroy an enemy, make them your friend. Now that's powerful. That's transformation. That's showing skill and wisdom. That is a master to me. That is in alignment with unity consciousness and oneness, you know. Here, The author is obviously telling you, do not just think about yourself, think about others as well. It is much better karma to feed someone than to shoot them. Absolute truth. Then the contradiction. This is really mind control, hypnosis, brainwashing, programming. Do not think just because you're a nice person, those who are hungry will honor that. That is not their truth. I know this is a hard pill to swallow. I swallowed it over 30 years ago when I was shown the visions of the probable future. Probable future just because of your dark timeline that you're projecting. You know? Oh my God! Classic brainwashing material. Contradictions of terms and appealing to your sense of survival. You know. This was taking into account changes in the collective consciousness, divine intervention. We still have time to shift the consciousness and put out a call for divine intervention. What happened to what it all boils down to is making your own God Spirit creative connection and stop depending on others to lead you or save you. You know, we still have time to shift the consciousness and put a call out for divine intervention. Yet some changes are necessary for Earth to continue on her cleansing and evolutionary process. We need to support her in doing what she needs to do. Flow with the changes and ask the beautiful many masters, saints, sages, angelic guides, benevolent off-worlders, etc. Wow. Is there more that you can call on to save you? For as much existence as possible, while doing all we can ourselves on every level so as not to create an immense disempowering babysitting job. The brain does not process negatives. Here, it's though it's saying, you know, do the right thing and all that, so as not to create an immense disempowering babysitting job. It's the brain does not process negatives. So here, to leave on a note, it's again, it's a put down. It's a slamming of someone's self-confidence. To not create an immense disempowering babysitting job. Call on all the beautiful many masters, saints, sages, angelic guides, benevolent off-worlders. I think he covered it all there, you know. Basic, you know, oh my God, this is crap. This is literally crap. If we go back to, was this message simple? It was short, but it was not simple. It was complicated. There was a lot of contradictions. It was saying one thing, but yet another. Absolute dichotomy and classic brainwashing material. Was it empowering? What did it... To me, it sounded like Alex Jones, you know, reporting all the negative agendas, but yet having zero solutions, except, you know, it did say make your own God source connection, which is absolutely important and true, and do not ask for saviors. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, it's not directing you to do that, not giving you any skill, any ideas, or even getting into that subject topic at all. You know, it was like 1% of this message here. This whole message is basically about how the shit is hitting the fan, and you better start asking for divine intervention and calling out to all the beautiful masters, sages, angelic guides, fishes in the sea, benevolent off-worlders, for as much assistance as possible. Again, the contradictions, you know. Was it from love? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is my perspective, and it'd be interesting to hear what you guys' thoughts are. You know, I have the link posted to where the message is posted without my editing. So check it out and let me know what you think. All right, aloha, mahalo. And this material here is from no other than Mr. James Gilliland of ECETI, and I was at ECETI for 3 years. I lived there and had done a lot of work for the ranch, and at the time I had invested myself fully and I thought I was contributing to a higher purpose. Since then, why I had to leave was because of messages like these that I no longer resonated with, and we all have our individual paths, so be it. But this is just me speaking up and speaking my truth without any malice or any negative intent, just speaking my truth and wanting to share my perspective as well. So thanks again for your listening, and look forward to hearing from your thoughts. Aloha.